So we're back.
me!
We just listened to a little bit of Heart of the Heart again. Does not have a solo. I didn't think it did, but we just wanted to make sure. And then another thing we forgot.
Instead, it has
a
lot of
bridge.
screaming.
Yeah, there is a lot of screaming in the verse in this song. You'll notice that it intertwines the screaming and singing elements a lot in the verse, and then the chorus is sort of triumphant, totally a crowd pleaser. Like if you get to see that live, I think it's going to be awesome live, especially if you know the lyrics come to chorus. Because
if you don't move to this song, then you're boring. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. But no, it's a good song. Yeah. It really is.
So I think we already did reviews or ratings, did we not? Yeah, we did. Where you gave it a 9, I gave it a 5.
This is a 9.
So, anyways, moving on to Skin.
Speaking of 9,
Skin.
Track number 9.
Skin is probably my favorite song on this album.
This one has a bit of screaming in it too, actually.
Mm-hmm. Especially in the pre-chorus. In the pre-chorus, there's a lot of screaming.
We might have to change the beginning of this review to, hey, it does actually have some screaming in this album.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, but not a whole bunch, but
yeah. Skin is groovy as all balls, and I freaking love the verse in this song. You're just gonna get hooked to it. I love the trapped in this
the solo. The solo caught me big time on this.
The solo is phenomenal. The pre-chorus or the pre-solo is got that awesome screaming. It gets fast and awesome, and you're just so pumped. And the solo just shreds. It's just pad shredding. I can remember the solo, and I usually don't remember solos of songs that I haven't heard a lot that very well, but because. But yes, this song is a really, really good song. The groovy main riff almost gave me a Heretic feel, by Avenged Sevenfold, the dun 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 dun, except it's a little different how they do it in this song. But it's sort of got that vibe. It's groovy though, and it's not like a ripoff for it by any means, because that's really the only similarity. Yeah, this is probably my favorite song on the album, to be honest. I really enjoy Skin.
Yeah, this one's good. This one is really, really, really good.
And I gave it a 9.
I don't mean to make my... Mm-hmm. Me too, actually. Me too. I really did. I don't mean to sound generic with my review a little bit by just saying like that it's really good, but I mean, honestly, the song is really good. It's a good song.
What's interesting...
It's very catchy.
Yeah. What's interesting is I've seen a lot of reviews pretty much bagging on the back half of this album, and I don't understand it because it gets better. It gets better than the first half.
It does get better.
Yeah, some of it's a little cliche, but it's very different in different ways, and it has some experiments for them. Like it's fresh, and it's got an edge to it that Temper that wasn't present on Temper for the most part. Give or take like 2 songs. Yeah. So I think we pretty much covered that song. Really good song. Then we move on to track 10, Hell or High Water.
Hell or High Water.
At first, this song was a 7, but I bumped it up because it did grow on me a lot. Yeah. The one thing that caught me off guard in the chorus is he says heaven can wait. I mean, come on. That's a Maiden song. Anyways, heaven can wait come hell or high water. That was like, what? Why are you saying... Is this a Maiden cover? But no, obviously not. Anyways, yeah, cool intro. A really good verse in this song as well. Hell or High Water has a really sort of catchy verse. The chorus is a little forgettable on Hell or High Water. That's probably the worst part of the song, to be honest, the chorus. But then, after the chorus and the second verse and the second chorus, you get to the best part of the song.
Bridge.
Oh my god.
My opinion, the bridge, and then it breaks off into this.
the
Just they
thrash.
all of a sudden turn into fast, progressive.
And it's so good.
Like here we go, let's change the tone entirely.
And I
it's
remember
a total
the
like
riff.
table flipper.
It's a huge riff. It's so memorable. They should have made an entire song off this riff. The dun 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 dun. It's just such a good riff.
I could see them doing a Hell or High Water Part 2 sometime.
Oh my god, I love that riff so much. That's a good riff. And I'll listen to the entire song just for that riff. And it really brings the rating up to an 8 for me. I'm almost an 8.5, to be honest. That song is a
That's
good song.
what it is for me, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It is an 8.5 to me, too. This
that-
album, the album rating got bumped up for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in my opinion, the overall rating. Because at first I was going to give, just to say this, I was going to give the album an 8.
But yeah, we'll talk about that at the end review. We don't want to spoil it. Don't want to spoil the end review.
Well, that's why I said I was going to.
Yeah.
I'm not telling y'all what. You guys gotta wait.
11. Track 11, the final track song of the
Pariah.
is a really good song. I know we've just been calling the last couple songs really good, but they are. It improves so much on the back half of the album. It'll make you forget
This
about
is a
the two
great
songs.
song, in my opinion.
Oh, the riff.
This song.
This is one of the most memorable riffs on the album.
They need to play. They need to play this one live.
Oh my
for
gosh,
sure.
yes.
Caught my attention immediately. Like immediately caught my attention. Like the verse was great. I thought that the verse transition into the chorus was really good. The chorus was catchy to me. I really liked it.
Yeah.
Like it just this whole song actually. This one made me think of Hit the Floor. Big
Yeah.
time. Hit the Floor was one of my favorite songs by them.
That's true.
Originally. And this song, man, this song definitely is up there with Hit the Floor
Yeah.
for me. I like it.
Good lyrics, good riffs, badass solo.
Now, this song isn't relatively long, and that's one thing that you guys are going to notice about this album. It's not a long song album. None of the tracks go over 5 minutes.
It's
Not a
shortish.
single one.
The album only clocks in at about 41 minutes, if I remember correctly, which is pretty short for 11 songs. But
But still definitely a good listen.
oh yes, for sure. And I love, like, just talking about Pariah a little bit first, before we go into the entire overview. I really do enjoy Pariah, and think of it, you know how Metallica used to always end their albums off with the really heavy, fast songs, like they did Dyer's Eve and Damage Incorporated, that were just like, even though you might have a couple slower songs towards the end, then you end with a bang, and that's what Pariah is. Because yeah, even Hell or High Water is a little slower, so is Skin. They just they go out with a bang. They don't fade away, they go out with a bang, and that's what the heck Pariah is. It's a great track to end an album, and a solo that is instantly memorable with some really good riffs. It's just a monster riff song. Like, there's not a riff on this song that's weak.
The album, or not the album, but the album, guys. No, the solo to me wasn't that long.
It wasn't
but the
that
solo
long,
in this
but
song
it's
did
good.
not have to be.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like, it didn't have to be long. It's pretty good. Like, Padge kind of showed off a little bit. Padge showed off a little bit in this album. There was a couple of moments in this album where I wanted to flip off my computer because I was like, I can't do this stuff yet, you dick. Stop taunting me with new
Just
cool
showing
shit.
he's just
No,
a
I'm kidding.
phenomenal guitarist. He's always been a phenomenal guitarist. Even on their weak albums like Temper Temper, he was still pulling off great solos. Because
Yes,
that's
he
just
was.
what he does. He's just a shredder. And it's so rare in a metalcore band if you want to consider these guys metalcore anymore.
Can we say he's Master Shredder?
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know if you get that.
Um,
Some people might.
Anyways, I gave this song a 9 out of 10. It's a great album ender.
9.5.
9.5. Wow.
9.5 actually. This song was one of the heaviest songs on the entire album.
Yeah.
In my opinion, and I'm not rating it that just because it was super heavy, but
It's
this
good.
one
It's just
they like
monster
it's a
riffs.
good closer.
Yeah.
This is a good song that they could play at the end and still have people like, holy shit, that was awesome.
There's just monster riffs over and over again on this song. the top three songs. Let's do our top three songs just so that we get them out of the way now. Top three songs on Venom for me would be Pariah, Skin, and Broken.
Alright, are you going from third to first or first to third?
Ooh, I wasn't really thinking about it that way. I was just thinking top three, but then again, that's probably a good idea. So if I'm gonna say first, I'd have to say Skin. So I'd probably say Pariah third, Broken second, Skin first for me. That's just how it works out for me.
Okay, I won't lie. My first one is actually gotta be Pariah, and then the second one for me has to be The Harder the Heart, the Harder It Breaks. That one, I really, really liked that. It was a good song. They were both great. They were both really good additions to put into, a discography for them. They're songs I'm going to remember.
Yeah.
And then my third is Worthless. No, I'm totally joking. It's not Worthless. That's like my ninth.
Worthless
10th.
is literally
It's
worthless.
my 13th, and there's only 11 tracks. It's my 13th one, and there's only 11 tracks, man.
Yeah.
No, okay, to be honest,
Yeah, that's a tough choice.
my third actually had to be No Way Out.
Yeah, No Way
I really
Out's
liked
very
it.
good. No
It
Way
was
Out's definitely in the top 5 for me.
good opener for the album, other than good as a song.
Yeah, that just leads out the album, and it works so well with the intro and whatnot. So now we're gonna get into the overall rating for the album. Just a couple comments before we get into that. This album is not what I expected after hearing No Way Out, which I kind of went over in the beginning of the album. If you're looking for Waking the Demon every single song, this album's not for you, and especially when you get into the back half, it gets really groovy, and you'll notice that it's slower, it's groovier, it's not necessarily fast and thrashy, with the exception of some of the stuff on the earlier of the album, such as Army of Noise, No Way Out, and then of course Broken and
Hell or High
Pariah.
Water to me.
Once
you get to with Hell or I'm sorry, with Hell or High Water, that's one thing I need to talk about overall for the album. Hell or High Water to me felt like a song on the album that feels kind of like the new style that they might be going for. It's not. It feels like their radio style, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like super crazy or nothing, but like once it got to the bridge and everything, it was awesome.
Yeah, and
That's
really
where
heavy.
you were.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. I fully agree with that. But it's just, to me, it feels like a different style than they used to play. It feels more radio friendly. But it makes that, it doesn't hurt the album, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it just feels, like I said, this album's different.
It's definitely got a feel that would work on on the album like The Poison, or I mean not The Poison, The Fever. If you're gonna compare it to songs like Your Betrayal and whatnot, which is obviously a more radio-friendly song.
Overall, I really like the album. I feel that this album would have been really awesome if they would have made this album earlier. If they didn't have, Fever and Temper.
And that's another thing we should probably talk about. This is the first album since their first two that has the producers from their first two. That was a big thing in the production of this album. They brought back the two producers. Or no, it was the producer and the mixer. Or the engineer or whatever that they used on The Poison and Screaming Fire. And I feel like that if they had stayed with those producers for their third album, this is what probably would have come out. It's probably it's the natural progression for the band after that. And then I think after
They need
that,
to keep these guys.
Oh yeah, they're great. They're great. Like I think after that they might have gone to the Fever style, but maybe even a bit heavier version of the Fever. And the Fever was pretty heavy as it is. The Fever is no Snorefest. The Fever is definitely a solid album, even though it's not as heavy as the first two. But so let's quickly just go over the different aspects. So lead guitar, solos in general, solos and the melody bits and all that. How does that stack up?
Solos. Solos definitely not in their prime. To be honest, they're good, but they're not. They are not like the solo to Cries in Vain They're not the solo to Waking the Demon. They're
Yeah.
not the solo to Scream Aim Fire.
Their first two
They're not.
albums so
They're
far
good.
have definitely had their best solos. The first two albums are their solo prime so far. However, but that's the thing. If you're gonna talk about like the melody guitar just played when there's not solos, there's a lot of that on this album that's done phenomenally. Like just the melody guitar and the harmony guitar and whatnot playing during the verses or the pre-solo chorus and whatnot. That is really good on this album.
They've definitely brought that back
From their first album and their first two, if you
right.
Mm-hmm. And it's
Well,
and it's
like you
better
said,
than
this
ever.
this feels like. Well, like you said, this feels like this is the album that they would have made if the other two albums never existed. Like if if Fever and like if the two Bomb albums, I'm just gonna call them the Bombs of Bullets Blank Shells. I'll call them that.
Yeah.
They shot a couple blanks. They weren't too great. This album is definitely not a blank. It's
and
a bullet.
And the
It's a good one.
harmonizing guitar and the melodic guitar throughout the whole entire songs was so missing from Temper Temper. Temper Temper was much more raw. There was just not that element that is so much more present on this album everywhere you turn. The exceptions to that are Army of Noise. I'd say Army of Noise is definitely the most raw song on this album. Like, it's very raw for them. Which is why you compared it to Saint Anger. Like, just that really raw, thrashy feel. And I know that's probably going to get a little hate comparing it to Saint Anger, because a lot of people would argue that Saint Anger is anything but thrashy. But in its essence, it really is. It almost has the original essence of thrash metal. But then again, we're not going to go into a review of Saint Anger, because that's a completely different beast that we don't want to get into right now. Maybe
That's
sometime
gonna take.
we'll do
That'll
it.
be like 3 times longer.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be like 3 times longer. We'll have to listen to the album for like a month solid.
Yeah, because
to really get it down. I won't lie. We kind of like did this on the spot a little bit because like we talked about it a little bit, but like we were like, holy crap, the album's coming out. Let's do a review for it.
Yeah,
we were
like,
yeah.
we had a couple
But
days.
still, like it's good
Now, we're not going to lie to you.
to listen to it.
We've had quite a few days to listen to it because, as a lot of the hardcore fans will know, it leaked. And we obviously aren't going to try to, like, steal the album for them. I already pre-ordered the album's deluxe edition. But obviously, since it leaked, we took the opportunity to listen to it early so that we could have a couple days before the release to hear the songs, let them grow on us if there was any growing for them to do. So that's why we've had a couple days to reflect, to listen to the album a couple times. I've probably listened to the full album upwards of 10 times by now. Just on the go or whatnot, just listening to the album. Trying to get a feel for all the songs. Anyways, let's move on from lead guitar. Let's go to rhythm guitar. In my
Rhythm
opinion,
guitar was
solid
on
as
point.
always. Solid as always. Matt Tuck
Yes.
is just a phenomenal guitar player, and he's just always solid. He can play crazy stuff, and he's just really got that good. He's got that really nice tone too. Like their rhythm tone is just phenomenal. It always has been, even on Temper Temper. Their tone has never been a problem. Like they've got great tone. It's unique to them. You can tell it's a Bullet song because of the guitar tone, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yes.
And
I will fully agree with you on
it's
that.
something that you don't really hear anywhere else, and it's really good. It's definitely got its own quality of distortion, but it's good. It's very good. Moving on from rhythm, drums, excellent as always. I mean, there's no complaining there. I forget the drummer's name.
Oh man, this is the worst part because I don't remember the drummer's name or the bassist's name, and I'm really sorry.
Bassist's name is Matthias. I know that's his first name. Oh, what was the drummer's name?
I wonder
his
why
name's
I don't remember it.
James. I think his name is James. I think that's his first name. Anyways, phenomenal drummer. He's really just a great drummer. Like, he's no Chris Adler, but he's capable. Or he's very capable. Like, he can play a show like this. He's probably
Right.
one of the most solid parts of the band. Like, you always really just expect on-point drumming. It's always been a part of the band. And even in their simpler songs, the drumming is still a little intense. Like, you look at, like, Your Betrayal. The guitar parts for that song are just simpleton simple. But the drumming is, like, not at all. The drumming is really good. And on this album, there's definitely a lot of complex drumming as well. And then he knows when to slow it down. Like, look on Venom. He slows it down a lot, and it still works fine for him. But then you look at songs like Army of Noise and Pariah, where he's going out, like, he's going full speed ahead. Drumming pretty awesome. Bass, can't really judge the bass too much on this album because you don't really hear the bass. I didn't really hear the bass ever that much. I don't really focus on that kind of thing, you know, like, oh, I gotta hear the bass, I gotta listen super closely. Because Matt
bass
Tuck
to me,
tracked the bass anyways, so we know it's solid.
Oh, really?
There. Yeah. We know it's literally just the same as the rhythm guitar parts, like it is on most albums. The bass usually is just the rhythm guitar parts played an octave lower. Vocals. What I wrote down for vocals on this page is much better than Temper Temper. Miles better than Temper Temper, especially the screaming. But it's still not perfect. It's still not to the level that it was on the Poison, in my opinion.
I agree. The songs back then were really memorable, but to be fair, I need to give these songs more of a listen. Not saying that I don't remember them, but they're not as attachable to me as the other songs were. The other songs were great.
I'd say this album doesn't compare to their first two. However, it's better than Fever and Temper Temper. Well, it's pretty close to Fever. Fever's pretty close, but anyways, stylistically, if you're gonna compare it to any two albums, to be honest, I don't think it is comparable simply because it is a different. But if you're gonna compare it to any two albums, or to any albums, I would put it somewhere in between their first two and Fever. Because it's got some of the Fever more commercial, groovy, slower stuff, you know? But then also a lot of the elements of the heavier stuff from the first two albums sort of melded together. But yeah. Not a lot of Temper Temper influence, but there is a little bit of that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But thank goodness that they don't have too much of the Temper Temper influence, because I didn't want to hear Temper Temper again. I'm glad that they didn't do that road. You know what I mean? They didn't go down that road of no.
Yeah.
Of please no.
Yeah.
Oh boy. But my overall opinion, I really liked the album, really enjoyed it. The whole album was really on point, actually. I feel like the album will get growable, like, you know, become a lot more attachable. I just need to listen to it more. Overall, album was awesome.
Yeah.
And I suggest you guys give it a listen. Don't give up on Bullet. Just because the other two albums sucked doesn't mean this one sucks. Please give it a good listen, because it's worth the time.
So what was your out of 10?
9. This album gets a 9.
I gave it an 8.5 initially. Ooh, that's close. That's so close. Between an 8.5 and a 9. I think I'll probably keep it at an 8.5. It's just
8.75.
It's just those two songs that hold it back. If those two songs were not in the album, it would be a 9.5, to be honest. And then some of the drawbacks, some little lyrics, the lyrics, of course, not being their prime. But other than that, it's a well-deserved 8.5 to 9 for me. Well-deserved for sure. Met up to expectations for the most part, and I really enjoyed the album, and I will enjoy it for a while to come. And I'm going to be able to see them live in about a week and a half now, and it's at a festival. So I'm considering maybe doing a review of the festival on my channel. So stay tuned for that if I decide.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I thought of that.
Make sure that you film. make sure that you have something to film stuff so you don't forget.
Yeah, I probably will.
Like if you go to
shop.
shops and cool stuff like that, take a good look at stuff.
Yeah, I will, and I'll review the merch stand too, because from what I've seen, the merch stand for this tour that they're on right now looks awesome. Because I'm gonna buy a ton of T-shirts. But anyways,
Well,
so,
if it's at a festival, you're gonna find a lot more than just
T-shirts
than
and
just
stuff.
merch stands. You're gonna find so much stuff. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed our review. Obviously, it's gonna be a little on the longer side, not quite an hour, but close. Actually, at this point, it's basically an hour. Yep, it's literally been an hour. But anyways, if you watched it straight to the end, which I don't think is going to be too many of you, but if you did, bravo. You toughed through it. I really hope that it was enjoyable enough for you to listen to it all the way to the end. Like, even if you just put it on to the background and listen to something else, it's like a podcast, pretty much. That's what you can treat this as. You should just start that, the metal podcast.
I'm gonna say we're definitely gonna like start doing a lot more of these. We're gonna get in a lot more depth with them. We're gonna give them a lot. Like we might actually come back to this review later once their album's been out for like a good 4 or 5 months and like do a re-review and see if there's anything else that we want to talk about that we found that that we hear that we didn't hear these go-arounds with this album. This album is good though, and it's going to get memorable. The songs are only going to become better, especially when they play them live. And who knows? This is the album just came out. They could also have different versions of the songs come out, because I mean, there's always acoustic versions of songs. There's always all kinds of stuff.
I would
we never
not
know.
mind an acoustic version of Venom. I could totally see an acoustic version
that would be
of Venom
tight.
working. Much in the way as they did with like Tears Don't Fall and the last fight and whatnot. But yeah, definitely check this album out if you get a chance. I really hope you guys enjoyed this review. The reason I cut it off there is because after that, it sort of goes off into a tangent and totally gets unfocused. But we might release the conversations that we have after that, which to some people will be kind of interesting and funny, as an extras video later. But for now, that's the end of the Venom review by Bullet for My Valentine, and I really hope you guys enjoyed the review. We had a lot of fun listening to the album and giving you guys our opinions, so, pop it a like if you listen to it. If you listen to it all, I salute you, brother. But anyways, yeah, just have a great one. Peace.